Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar, Say Yes to More Print Jobs with HP. Now for textiles. A few housekeeping items to mention before we get started with today's webinar. All attendees are on mute. If you have a question for me or today's webinar presenter, please send it through the questions section on your GoToWebinar dashboard. Or you can use the Raise Your Hand feature to ask your question verbally. You can access the question box by clicking on the plus sign next to the question header on the dashboard. To access the Raise Your Hand feature, click on the hand icon that is also located on the left side of the GoToWebinar dashboard. We will then unmute your line and you will be able to ask your question. Questions will be held until the end of the presentation for the Q&A section. Today, the webinar will be presented by Timothy Mitchell. Timothy has been directly involved in the digital printing industry since 1992. He has worked at all levels of the industry, from press operation to prepress, color calibration to sales. He has been on both sides of the digital fence, working both as a print service provider and as a manufacturer. Since 2010, he has worked exclusively with HP Latex print technology in all of its various incarnations, from printing to software. His specialization is the development of new applications for the latex industry. Without further delay, let's begin. Timothy?
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm contacting you from just north of Atlanta, Georgia. It's about 70 degrees. It's lovely. The sun is out. It's a spring day. And I'm going to cover a couple of key new products and applications that HP has been developing. The first is the latex print and cut solution, which we have introduced about a year ago, but we've added some new features to it. And then the durable textiles, which was initially announced at SGIA in 2017, but we've added additions to the durable textiles as well, and I'll explain both to you. I have a PowerPoint deck. I have probably too many slides as always, and we're going to move through them quickly because I want to make sure we have time for questions. Moving on, we'll get right to it. And here we go. Okay, first of all, in the roll-to-roll market, that is with low-volume printers, there were overall 8,900 units sold last year. 5,871 of them are roll-to-roll, and HP has 51% market share. We are the dominant print technology in the market at this time for low volume. Latex was introduced 10 years ago. This is our 10-year anniversary. I've been with latex for 8 years. That's all I do here at HP is work with latex, both low volume all the way to the 10-foot, 3.2 meter printers. And it's been a tremendous success. We've introduced a groundbreaking technology. It's a water-based thermal print head. HP makes our own ink. We make our own print heads. We make our own machines. Everything end-to-end is HP. In a way, you could say that the latex is the Swiss Army knife of the industry. One printer, and I can do so many different applications. It's sort of a running joke that if you have it on a 3-inch core, I can run it. In most cases, it will work through a latex printer. Just to give you an idea, we do vehicle wraps. We specialize in vehicle wraps. 3M in particular has given us a 7-year MCS warranty. So if you're doing vehicle wraps, 3M, which has certified us, is a 7-year MCS for vehicle wraps with IJ 180. Also, we do every kind of commercial signage, banners of all types, display signage, self-adhesive. We also do offset and uncoated papers in addition to standard coatings, resin-coated, latex impregnated papers, all different types of papers. We also do durable polyester fabric for displays. We have a new durable. It's called durable, and I'll get into that a little later in the presentation, but it means that we have much improved scratch and scuff resistance on all of our fabrics, so most trade show applications, no problem. It also does natural fibers for decor, so we can print on cottons and linens. We also have a warranty with 3M for outdoor high-intensity prismatic and engineering-grade signage. In this case, this is the 3M 3930 and 4000 series, high-intensity prismatic, and black on color, either white, orange, or yellow backdrop. We also have DOT road signage in 6 colors. We are currently standing with a 6, or in the United States anyway, a 10 to 12 year warranty with 3M for outdoor colors on federally regulated signage. And there's your federally regulated. The only colors that are not warranted for 10 to 12 years are yellow and orange, but everything else is warranted for 10 to 12 years outdoor, and that's federal highway. We also do garment decoration, for example. We've been working a lot with heat transfer, Caesar, Polytape, and Chemica. Almost all of the heat transfer materials that I've used have worked, and I just did presets for all of the Polytape, including the new 4036 Turbo, which worked beautifully, and we used that at the ISA show recently. So why did HP create the print and cut bundles? There's a very large market. You know, effectively, we have not been participating in the print and cut. It is about 34% of the market. 3,000 printers are print and cut printers, and 70% of that is Roland, and 30% of that is Mamaki. Now, we wanted to enter this market because we feel that we have a superior product. We don't do it quite like they do it, but we certainly have an integrated print and cut solution. So of those 3,000 units, 20% of them are 54-inch and smaller, and we have 2 54-inch options. You know, most of the print and cuts that are sold are 54-inch. That's a very standard workflow, especially when you consider the lamination and any other process involved. Most adhesive vinyl, which is the primary thing used for a print and cut, is going to be a 54-inch roll. Our solutions, we have 3 of them. We have the 115, which is your most affordable, and that is a printer, a cutter, as well as the software. Then we have the 315, which is also a 54-inch. It has a few additional features, including a larger ink container, and then the 335, which is a true 64-inch print and cut, and that is the HP printer, or the printer, the cutter, and then also the software. There are effectively 4 pillars of the print and cut solution. We feel we have a best-in-class HP printer. That is our standard latex printer, whether it's the 115, 315, or the 335. We also have a best-in-class latex cutter that is powered by Suma. Suma does nothing except make cutters, and if you guys are familiar with cutters, Suma is an excellent cutter. I think there are 2 truly great cutters on the market, GravTech and Suma. Everything else, I believe, is a considerable tier backward, and the Suma is extremely accurate, and it's very easy to use. We also have best-in-class HP Flexi Print and Cut RIP. The Print and Cut RIP was designed specifically for this project, and that Print and Cut RIP is the design software as well as the RIP software integrated with a barcode reader and then designed to work in concert and harmony with the printer and the cutter all together. And then also we have best-in-class design software. We have a cloud-based application suite that comes free with all of our printers, that allows you to log in and utilize online design tools, cloud-based, for the customer to send files directly to you as finished PDF files. First, the printer. Goes without saying, it has the anti-scratch ink. We have the best scratch resistance of anything on the market. Fewer sticker applications need lamination. I would say, unless I'm doing long-term outdoor, something on the ground, or a vehicle wrap, I'm probably not laminating anymore. It's not really necessary with latex, especially for short-term outdoor and most indoor application, because our scratch resistance on adhesive vinyl is so good. Also, no edge curl, no shrinkage, no potato chipping. Everything is finished and ready to go dry off the printer. No wait if you do choose to laminate. It's instant dry ink. It's just more productive with a quicker turnaround. Also, there's significant advantages being able to use latex inks which sit on top of the vinyl as opposed to the effects of solvent, which will tend to go into the adhesive layer. It causes deformation of the media and it affects the accuracy of the printing. We have a best-in-class latex cutter. It comes with a barcode scanner built right onto the cutter. It has the Opos XY optical registration, which is the registration marks, and combined with the XY registration, we have cut accuracy of 1/100th of an inch up to 26 feet, which is the industry best. There's nobody even close. Most will not get that within 7 feet. And then we also have automated batch cutting with no user intervention. I can verify how well that works because I ran 4 rolls of heat transfer film in which all of the jobs were set one after another. I queued them all up. I did it on the take-up. I moved the take-up over to the cutter. I had the barcode find the first job. It knows what job. It knows what orientation. And as soon as it's done, it just feeds the next one and the next one and the next one. I went away completely unattended, both cutters, came back. Everything was in the basket. I just rewound it back onto the take-up and then set those aside. And they all went to the show. Everything went perfectly. Best-in-class Flexi print and cut rip. It has the barcode server software built right into it. It creates both cut paths for raster and vector, flexible workflows. You can use the Flexi for external design in almost a replacement for Illustrator and Photoshop if you chose to. And then editor supports cutting optimization and true shape nesting. And then our own design software. You can use the internet, put our application suite right into your website, and then it can link right to it, and the customers can go online and design everything themselves. You receive print-ready files, and then you can print directly from there. It will lay out canvas, it will lay out t-shirts, it will lay out decals, it will lay out wall art, it will lay out almost any different application. All of the applications are there. Think of it like an online version of, kind of like a very simple version of Illustrator with a very elemental set of Photoshop tools. And there are 15 different applications for this. So together, you have the printer, the cutter, the integrated rip, and the design software, plus the HP Online software. It makes it more productive, and it makes it more accurate. It's a very simple system to use. And this is our formal layout: the printer, the cutter, the rip, and the signage suite. So 10 things a latex print and cut can do that bundles can't do. Complete solution, design and production. We have an open architecture Flexi Rip. The Flexi Rip comes with the Flexi design software. So you can do all of your cut contour marks, your kiss contours, your perf cuts. You can put transparencies onto bitmap images. You can put your as many different effects you want onto the images. And usually what I do is I design them in Illustrator, but then I bring them into Flexi, do all the finishing, put all the contours, put all the kiss cuts in, and then drag it right over into the rip. They're completely integrated. You can do the preview cut order as an animated preview. It'll show you how everything is going to go. It will also let you modify it. So if you want to change it around, you can tell it exactly what order you want it to go in. It also uses an auto-assigned barcode, so you really can never get the wrong job, and you can never get the orientation wrong. Because all you do is press the little barcode button on the cutter, it scans for the barcode, it finds the job, it figures out what the orientation is, and it releases and cuts it automatically. Also, you have tremendous accuracy. You have up to 128 registration marks per job, which is just absolutely fantastic on the y-axis, 64 per side. It corrects for print deformation caused by print media feed, printer drying, curing heat, and laminator feed. There's a black bar at the leading edge, and that is scanned for distortion at 8 places, correcting for the axis deformation. You can also do true shape nesting. So it makes no sense to cut like the object on the left. What you want to do is cut like the object on the right. It's going to save you a ton of media. Unattended batch cutting. This is done really with 3 slides, but it's very simple. This is exactly what I did. The first one, Down in the yellow, that's your barcode. It sees the barcode. It identifies that job, and then it automatically goes up and then finds the next job and finds the next job because the distance that's set is within its tolerance, and it just knows it's going to keep doing them. You also can control smart objects completely within Flexi. So the Flexi software is very robust. It has all of the features that Flexi is known for. I mean, you have manual and automated nesting, full margin bleed and crop marks. You have highest HP certification, automatic media synchronization, native PDF rip engine, Pantone and custom spot color matching, print wizard, fast job preview, full freeform job tiling, integrated media tool, cloud window. You even have a remote job monitoring from the Latex phone app, and then also from the Flexi phone app. So you can monitor all your jobs that are going on completely from your phone. Flexi is built as a standalone open architecture software. It is a partner of ours. And this software RIP is not closed. If you want to add modules or you want to expand, for example, the version I have, I paid $500 more, and the RIP and print and cut comes with one printer, one cutter. But I have 3 printers and 2 cutters. So I paid $500 more, and it gives me all 3 printers and then unlimited HP cutters. Flexi's RIP is designed so that if you want to grow, the RIP grows with you. It is a full-fledged possible RIP, and you can add pieces on as you need to. I mean, the irony is Flexi will cut to a Roland cutter. Flexi will cut to a Mamaki cutter. But Roland and Mamaki are isolated. You're on Roland Island. With us, you're on our software, or Flexi software, and Flexi will print and cut to anything you want to open up within their modular architecture. Moving on. Latex durable textiles and soft signage. So HP has always been able to print to home decor or to soft signage. The prints on latex on fabric are excellent. We rival dye sublimation for color, fidelity, clarity, image quality, and saturation. What we've always had some trouble with is the scratch and scuff to really be able to compete with dye sub. I don't consider a solvent printer to be competitive with latex at all on any level of fabric. Whether it's coated fabric, uncoated fabric, or natural textile, it's not even close. A latex printer will print much better on a solvent-coated fabric than a solvent will. It's extremely compatible with fabrics. Quality has always been there, but what's been missing is the piece where we want to get better scratch and scuff resistance. So what we did, why Textiles? Let's go over the business proposition a little bit. Soft textiles, if you look everywhere, they're replacing PVC. Go through any airport, any high-end residential, commercial applications, you're seeing pretty much every airport is nothing except grand format textile. Silicon edge graphics every place. Why? Because they're lighter. They're much easier and cheaper to ship. They're more environmentally friendly. And they provide a very elegant and premium touch. You know, fabrics are going to look a lot better than any of your, like a scrim banner would be completely inappropriate in a high-end application. And fabrics look fantastic. There's also huge and growing demand. By most accounts, the growth is expected to be 11% until 2021. And this is an enormous industry. 188 million AMS soft signage opportunity for the Americas. 83% of that is dye sublimation at this time. And we feel that with our durable textiles, we can compete very effectively against dye sublimation for the sign and display market on polyester textiles. So why HP technology for soft signage? You can increase the range of your applications. There's no question if you bring in fabric, There's a lot more you can do, and the whole point of latex is to increase the range of your applications. Don't get stuck into a dead-end commodity market like scrim banner. Scrim banner is increasingly a commodity. You want to look for all the other opportunities in niche markets, whether it's canvas, wall covering, or all the different textile and fabric applications. Latex is versatile. One printer can print on so many different types of materials. If a customer comes in, I'm not turning the job away. Color consistency. Latex is very consistent with color, and we have onboard color calibration tools. And we have very high image quality. Everything is 1200 DPI, 12 picoliter drop in fast or slower modes. We can lay down a lot of ink, and we could put down heavy saturation as needed, especially for things like backlit. This is an example of the image quality you can get on the durable textiles. This is probably a Top Value Fabrics Digi Panorama. So what do I mean when I say durability, durable textiles? Essentially, we've made a significant improvement in HP durability of soft textiles, and it allows for most fabrication process to handle, sew, and then ship the durable textiles without resulting damage or image quality defects. Essentially, we can print, sew, ship, and install without scuffing or scratching the image. And this is what changed for latex and opened up a huge market for us that we've been a little bit marginal on. And we've always had the quality, we've just not had that scuff and scratch resistance for the fabrication process. What that means for us when we say durable, it means that you get a 4 or 5 on a dry crock test. In the past, we got 2s and 3s, occasionally 1s, but there were very, very, very few 4s that were on a latex fabric. And as a result, people complained about the scuffability, the scratchability on fabrics. A Fisher tripoplin, for example, looks spectacular, but in dark areas in particular, it just scuffed and scratched way too easy. And this test, by the way, is the actual Tabor test that we use to document our process of declaring it a durable textile. We go through a very elaborate testing evaluation, and the process is both objective and scientific when we say it gets a 4 or 5 on a dry crock test. These are some of the fabrics or the manufacturers that have been participating with us for this durable textile. Ulrich, which is sold as Top Value in most parts of the United States and Canada. Endurafab, Signet Mills, Neshin, Berger, Duravibe, Ultraflex, Aurora, Versailles, all the big names. So durable textiles enable many soft signage applications, especially, let's start with polyester fabrics. Table throws, table skirts, all sorts of silicon edge graphics, roll-up banners, hanging banners, backlit signs, front-lit durable or front-lit silicon edge graphics, stretchable fabrics. Those all come into play with polyesters. Pretty much everything you see at a sign show can be done with a latex printer. So probably our most important partner that we formed a relationship with to develop this is Top Value Fabrics. It's the manufacturer is Ulrich. They're a European manufacturer, and they have 5 SKUs which qualify as durable textile. They're all sold in Canada. Digi Competition and Panorama are probably the best known. I also like the Digi Stretch quite a bit. The Fascination is a sheer, and the Supernova is a very high-end, heavyweight fabric. What Top Value did is they worked in a partnership with us, and they formulated a dip treatment. We don't call it a coating because there's no hand on the fabric that's affected by it. It doesn't have this heavy, gluey coating. The coating is soft. There's no smell. There's never any smell from latex technology on the fabric. And we also know that they're very good at preparing the fabric for digital printing. It comes on a roll. The roll is applied to the core properly. Everything on there is very even. And the treatment that's on there allows us to have the durability of a 4 or better. So all the Ulrich Top Value fabrics have a 4 or better on durability. And the Digi Competition, for example, that's a very good choice. Also, we have Pongs. Now in Canada, Pongs would be distributed through Beaver Textile. And I am told that Beaver Textile is going to carry the Pongs line and have it available in Canada. And currently, we have the PrintTech Soft Image 240 and the Spinnaker Economy. The Spinnaker is more like it's a ripstop material. Think of it for most marine applications, but also it's been used for airplane signage, you know, when the airplanes fly around over the beach. Ultraflex has a couple that are available, the Vortex Stretch and the Ultra Poplin Soft Image D240. Those are both durable textiles. If you look up on the top there, you see it says Wave. Wave just means when it was released. Actually, the first durable textiles are here. This is EnduraFab. EnduraFab is what used to be known as Green Textile. They're now officially called Signet Mills. They manufacture in North Carolina. Doug Troyer helped put the first digital durable textile for latex on the market at SGIA in 2016. And that was the first one to come out. They have a multiple SKUs here. If you buy in 10-foot rolls, it would be Signet Mills. If you're buying the 64-inch or smaller, it is called EnduraFab, and it is sold through LexJet. LexJet sells EnduraFab. They have an exclusive on that. But if it's 10-foot rolls, it goes to Signet Mills. Just a little distinction there. Neshin also has the Solvotex 240 on the durable list. Versaidig has the Semi Corpus Blockout. That is a beautiful blockout fabric. We had that at our trade show. Very nice for roll-up banners, very nice for hanging banners. They've also introduced, you see up there it says Wave 3, that's new. The Semi Pure Insight Supreme is a brand new durable textile. Berger has the Blackout Directo. That's also going to be a blockout fabric. Aberdeen is a very large manufacturer in the Carolinas, here in the States, and they also have gotten on board with durable. They have the Premium Heavy Knit. It is listed as a durable textile, and that's sold by Aberdeen. Having a manufacturer of their size and scale step on really indicates their commitment to latex durable fabrics. Aurora, another large manufacturer out of Illinois. They have a brand new line, brand new assembly line. This Expression Semi-Gloss Décor, it looks almost like a very thin canvas type surface fabric. We ran it at the show. It looks fantastic. Very nice material. And Aurora is working currently to develop more SKUs for the durable textile. And this is the Expression Semi-Gloss Décor. So what about backlit fabrics? Backlit fabric is, as much as you notice the front lit fabrics, backlit fabrics are everywhere. Almost every retail location I go into, every commercial location I go to, I see them switching from polyester backlit to fabric backlit. And they're doing this because of how easy it is to install fabric backlits versus a lot of the LEDs or polyester backlits. Currently, we have 3 primary backlits on the market. The HP Durable Backlit Fabric was developed by HP. All of these are coated, by the way. The coated backlits, a backlit fabric requires a coating in order to get the saturation levels and also to avoid the pinholing and have the really heavy, rich saturation we're looking for. So you have the HP Durable Backlit. That is a coated backlit. It is absolutely gorgeous. The Ultraflex Vortex Mambo and the Pongs PrintTech Artist Mambo. Those are all durable backlit fabrics. That's the HP Durable. I have some of that hanging just to the right of me here. Ultraflex Vortex Mambo. And then there's the Pongs Mambo. There's also new durable textiles for home decor. These are polyester and natural fabrics. There's nobody else that can print on natural and polyester like latex can. If you were to do this with sublimation, you would be switching to a pigment-based dye set or a pigment-based ink set. Very few people do. It is time consuming. It does not jet well. A latex printer can use exactly the same inks, whether it's polyester or natural fibers. Plus, there's some other developments here that gives us significantly better durability than we have on anything else. So just to give you an idea, to me, this is one of the most important markets for us because we're in it and there's almost nobody else in this market in the way that latex can be. You have versatility, you have the touch and feel, you have no VOC and no smell, and you have very high image quality. To give you an idea of where this market is, this is a huge market. Absolutely huge. Only 10% of it right now is signage. And this is a $30 billion worldwide market. Natural fibers, printing on linens and cottons is a huge market, and it's almost completely untouched. Only 10% of it is being used for signage. This divides into a few different groups depending on what you're doing. Our primary partner here is Duravibe, also Pongs, but Duravibe is the primary. It's sometimes called Premex. Premex is the parent company, Duravibe is the brand. So in this case, you have things like the Duravibe Liane, which can be used for window blinds. Also the Pong Silencio, which is for noise-absorbing panels. Both in the decor market, and in this case, this would not be washed. It would not be washable because you wouldn't need to wash it. You would just print it off the printer as is. This is the Pongs. This is what the Silencio looks like as acoustic wall tile panels. This is a sound deadening application. And then these are your window coverings, like you have over there in the right behind the chair. This is for window blind, window shade, window blockout applications. That's what I have, for example, in the windows in my home. I use the Liane blockout to prevent light from coming through and damaging my nice rugs, and that's what's in the windows, and I can just roll that up and down, and it looks very, very nice. It's a high-end look because it's a natural fiber. You also have washable textiles for decor. You could either prepare these as washable or just leave them alone, things like lampshades. And that's the Duravibe Liane and the Duravibe Newport. And you can do lampshade applications. You're probably never going to wash a lampshade, so there's really no reason why you would go through the process to make it, the secondary level of durability. But when you're doing certain applications for home decor, you're going to need washability. For a lot of sign and display, you might not, and you can print directly on the cotton and linen. But if you want to have home decor, you're going to need washability. So let me explain how that works. There are certain decor applications, cushions, throw pillows, bags, curtains, some window shades, where you may want to have washability. And in order to have this washability, you're going to have to go through a slightly different process. And this is for cotton and polyester textiles that you want washability. Some of these require it, the window shades probably not. And these are the primary core fabrics that we have certified that have durability for home decor with washability included. And that's the Newport, the Warp Satin, the Liane, and the Phoenix. Those are all natural fibers except for the Phoenix. So the Newport, for example, is 90% cotton, 10% linen. It's absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, high-end look, natural fiber. Latex prints on it beautifully. You can make cushions with it, throw pillows, curtains. But how do you achieve the wash resistance? And that's here. The textiles, the materials sold by Premex have a special coating or treatment, and it is activated at, give or take, 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, the latex printers only go to 241 degrees Fahrenheit, so I'm short about 100 degrees. And in order to get there so that I have washability, I have to use a process. I need more heat. And you get that through heat fixation. It can either be a traditional oil-filled calendar, it can be an infrared, it can be a clamshell, it can be just a hot air plate. The point is you have to have even heat on it for 347 degrees for 80 seconds. And then it'll activate that treatment, and it will give you washable durability so that you have a much better bond with the fabric. The washing, and we have a whole cookbook for this, by the way, that explains all of this in very intricate detail. Also, the washing conditions, it is a 5 industry wash standard, which is very reasonable for, like, say, a throw pillow. You're not going to wash it much more than 5 times. It may wash many more times than 5, but we had it tested for 5 because that's an industry standard. We recommend a cold wash, no spin, and then whatever you're washing to, go ahead and turn it inside out. I do that with most of my jeans anyway. I just turn them inside out because we're protecting the discoloration of the material from the agitation from the wash. So when it's turned inside out with a no spin cold wash, you're good to go. This is an example. This image we printed, the side on the left has been fixated. That is, we ran it through a clamshell. The side on the right did not have the heat fixation, so it did not activate that treatment. And then we washed it. The one on the left has been washed 5 times, the one on the right has been washed 5 times, but the one on the left had the heat fixation, and that's the important difference. So if you're going to go with washable, durable textiles, you need to have a heat fixation process. Any of the ones that I mentioned work fine. So these are the Premex textile applications by products: cushions, curtains, bags, bean bags, tea towels, lampshades, canvases, tabletops, aprons, and tapestries. I would add, I have done bandanas for promotional events. I did the bandanas on the warp satin for the Coachella Music Festival, and we handed out thousands of them. We've also done a lot with, I have a bunch of Moroccan poofs made. I don't know if you guys know what those are. Think of them like North African footstools, and we made those with the liane. So how do you work with the new durable textiles? We have a media locator, and on the new media locator, we have it listed right there as durable textile. It's easy, it's accessible, and they're all right there. So every durable textile goes in there as its own type, and it's listed. And it's right on the printers as well. You just select it, durable textiles all right there. And then once it's there, it shows you its information about the fabric and then also what the testing achieved, if it's a 4 or a 5. You just download it right into the printer. Also, we have a whole bunch of videos on this, including, got Fatty up there, that's me. I've lost some weight since then, but those are, I don't know, there's a lot more than 3. There's probably about 10 videos directed specifically for fabrics. And we also have a bunch more on our Knowledge Center and other places, but those are on our YouTube channel. We also have a Durable Textiles Cookbook, which is on the Knowledge Center. The HP Knowledge Center is an online source where we place all of our content, information about the printers, all the different applications that we have, all of the information, as well as things like PDF forms of the cookbook, which walks you through how to achieve digital textiles, how to print, what the settings need to be, different type of textiles, appropriate textiles for applications, all of that stuff. So what's next? We have a new fabric that was just released. This comes from HP. HP has released at the show. This is going to be available, I think, in June. And this is a HP durable heavy fabric for outdoor and indoor use. It has outdoor limited durability. You're probably looking about 6 months. It's not that the color is going to fall apart. It's just fabric's going to fall apart if it sits outside too long. It's not designed to be years outdoor, but months outdoor. So we're looking 6 months outdoor. It's beautiful. It's heavy. It looks great. Everyone has seen it's been very impressed. The prints that I've seen look fantastic. And so it has indoor and outdoor applications as a durable textile. and that wraps it up. And that's an example, for example, of a durable fabric in a silicon edge system, probably 8 to 10 feet tall. That would be printed with one of our larger latex printers, probably a 1500, for example, as a backlit. And that kind of stuff is everywhere at this point. So I think I wrapped up even a little bit early, which is very unusual for me. I guess at this point, we'll take questions.
Great. Thank you, Timothy. We are
My
now
pleasure.
open for questions. If you have a question for Timothy, please send it through the questions section on your GoToWebinar dashboard. If you'd like to ask your question verbally, you can use the raise your hand feature that is also available on the dashboard. Just click on that icon. I'll see your hand go up, and then I'll unmute your line. If you do decide to ask your question verbally, please be mindful of the background noise when we unmute your line. While we wait for questions, I'd just like to announce that the Sign Association of Canada, our annual event, the Cross Canada Roadshow, is just around the corner. The event dates, location, and registration details are posted on our website. Also, Sign Expo Canada, Canada's premier sign and graphics trade show, is September 21 and 22nd, 2018. Booth spaces are selling fast, so if you haven't booked your booth yet, do it soon. I think we're about 20% left, so get your booths now. If you have any questions about our events or the association, you can visit our website at www.sac, that's SAC-ACE.ca, or you can contact us at info@sac-ace.ca. Timothy, first question.
Okay.
Person is asking, Flexi, is this SAI?
Yes. SAI is the parent company. I just colloquially call it Flexi because it's been called Flexi. It is SAI Flexi. Same software, same program, same company, based out of Salt Lake City.
Thank you. Next question. What is the warranty on yellow and orange with respect to 3M high reflective?
I don't know on the yellow and, well, the yellow and orange do not have a warranty because in order to get federal highway, it had to be tested for reflectivity and also color matching. So somewhere along the line, the yellow and the orange ink did not make it for federal highway certification. You can still print yellow, you can still print orange, but they would not warranty it for federal highway, which has very specific requirements. So either the reflectivity was not sufficient enough, or the ink did not come close, or the ink, we were able to achieve reflectivity, but we were not able to achieve the color match at the same time. So we have it for all the colors and then also for black, but not for the yellow and orange. That's for federal highway in the United States, which is a very specific requirement to have. You can still print on that for non-regulated signage all day long. And I think 3M is giving a 3-year for non-regulated signage. I'd have to check 3M's MCS. If you go online to 3M MCS for latex, they have the specs for everything on there. They're very specific. And this is a 3M warranty.
Thank you, Timothy. Next question is, how well is backlighting print on translucent vinyl when illuminated? Are the colors washed or look the same during the day as it does during the night?
Could you repeat the question? Maybe I missed a piece of it.
Okay. The question was, how well is backlighting print on translucent vinyl when illuminated? Are the colors washed or look the same day as night? And the person may have typed it in.
Okay.
I can ask for
so with the latex.
Oh, sorry, Timothy, go ahead.
Okay, so if you're printing on translucent vinyl, like 3M Panagraphics or the Ultraflex Lumilite or somewhere along those lines, we do not, on the low volume printers, they do not print double-sided registration, so you can't use the white of the banner as a day white effect with a latex, not with the 500 or the 365. The 365 and the 500 series can print double-sided, but the accuracy is not going to be there for a daylight white, where you print both sides on both, you print on the front side and the back side, and then use the white of the material to create what's called a daylight white, where if the light is off, it looks good, and if the light is on, it looks good. With this low volume latex, which is what I'm focused on, you would print just on the frontlit, or just on the front side. You would use a backlit level of ink, and the prints look absolutely gorgeous when illuminated. Normally with a backlit box, I just leave it on. Now, with the 1500, there is what's called a daylight white kit, and that is a 10-foot printer. That allows you to print with accurate registration side A and side B, and it gives you daylight white, in which case it's going to look fantastic in all cases. But that's for the 1500 printer only, and it has a special kit that does that. It has a slightly different OMOS, and the registration is more accurate. But I don't have any trouble with saturation on any of the translucents for adhesive, for translucent banner vinyl on any of the smaller latex. I've printed on Panagraphics, and I just did a profile for all of the FS1, which is the next level of 3M's LED backlit banner, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. But it's designed to be with the light on.
Okay, next question. Can the cutter handle 3M 3930 reflective, or is this hand cut?
That's a great question. Good for you. Here's the thing with the no. In summary, no. Our Suma cutter, which is a drag knife cutter, is not going to cut through the high intensity prismatic, a 3900 series or a 4000 series. I am told it will cut through a 3200 series, but not the 39 or the 4000. That's especially so when the laminate is on, which is how the system would be built anyway. So you would print it, laminate it, bring it back to the cutter, or bring it to the cutter, and then it's not going to be, the down force is not strong enough to cut through. Now, we're experimenting right now with doing a double cut, where I'm going to cut it twice, and considering the accuracy of the cutter and the fact that most of the time you're cutting a fairly straightforward rectangle with rounded edges, it's not complicated enough that it wouldn't accurately cut with a double cut. But until I can document that and prove it and be comfortable enough with it and to give some sort of expectations on using a double cut, we are saying no. You would want to use generally speaking, with something like that, you want to use a tangential head. Suma sells a tangential printer cutter, and that is going to have a motor that forces the downforce to be able to cut through that material. So great question. Thank you for helping me make sure that got clarified. No. Now I know GravTech sells the 8600 can handle some of that high intensity, but I also believe it's hard on that head as well. In most cases, I would recommend either a tangential print head or a cutter head, or going to a flatbed to cut through something that's that thick and that strong as 39 or 4000 series. Right now I'm cutting through all the adhesive vinyls, all the heat transfer materials. I'm cutting through almost all of the window films and frosted and everything along those lines. And I'm experimenting with magnetics. I know magnetics can be done. I've seen the team at the GBU doing it. They're cutting 015 magnet, but I haven't done it here, so I don't want to say for sure, but in theory, yeah, you can cut directly through magnetic. You don't need to cut all the way through. You score it to a degree and it comes right out.
Thank you. Next question. For printing fabrics, what are the key differences between the 300 series and the 500 series?
Okay. Also great question. So the 300 series is divided into two groups. You have the 315 and 335, and those do not have an ink collector. All right, there's no ink collector on the printer. So you would be looking for fabrics that would be either considered coated or airtight. So the Top Value Fabrics Panorama, for example, is very airtight. There would be almost no ink that would go through that fabric. So you can print directly onto the flat platen that's on the printer. So you could run the Top Value Panorama or the Aurora Expressions without using the ink collectors, and a 335 would be fine. Once you're looking at fabric where if you put, and also most of the backlits, once, because they're coated, once you put a fabric up to the light and you see pinholes, you need to use the ink collectors. And the printers that have ink collectors are the 365 and the 500 series. The 560 and the 570 both have ink collectors. So with the 365 and the 500, sky's the limit. If it's on a core and the fabric's put on there reasonably well, coated, uncoated, open weave, closed weave, even, you know, flag bannered, sheer, mesh, no problem. You have an ink collector. If the ink goes through, it goes onto the little foam inserts, and then you just replace the foam inserts when they're full. The flat platen printers, 315 and 335, you want to look for fabrics that are either coated or they're airtight, and there's a lot of those. You'd certainly still have a very large range of fabrics to choose from. Like the Leanne blockout, that's a blockout. So there's no ink going through. You could run that on a 335, no trouble. Hopefully I made that clear. That's a great question. Thank you.
Next question. Just want to confirm, Wave 2 and Wave 3. These are generational names created by HP to ID different durabilities of fabrics. Could you speak a little more about the durable fabrics designation?
All the wave meant was, when we initially announced durable textile, there was a wave 1, and there weren't a lot of choices. I think the only one was the EnduraFab, you know, which was green textile. They were the ones that came up with a treatment. You know, I worked closely with Doug Troyer to develop that. And we tested and tested and tested, and I didn't want any smell. I didn't want a gooey hand. And I don't know how many iterations we did until finally at SGIA in Atlanta, he said, we did it. It's done. And I looked at it, and it printed beautiful, and the scratch resistance was excellent. That would be kind of wave 1. And then wave 2 is when we partnered with Top Value Fabrics and also with Pongs. And those were also durable textile, but basically we got a lot more companies on board. Because with Top Value Fabrics, what we got, or with Ulrich Textile, it's the same thing. We got a worldwide distributor. EnduraFab / Green Textile, Signet Mills, they're just selling in the United States. They didn't even have reach into Canada or Mexico or Latin America, let alone Europe or Asia. Ulrich Textile, through Top Value and other partners, they can go worldwide. You know, we want to have this stuff available in Canada. We don't want these instances where we have a big trade show in the US and we tell everyone about something, and then everyone in Toronto goes, yeah, I want to order that. And we're like, no, we can't get that in Canada yet. So the deal was, if we're going to promote it, it's got to be worldwide. And that's where the really big fabric companies stepped on board. That was wave 2. Wave 3 is just adding more companies. It's the same standard. It's the same durable textile. It's just who came on board when, and it sort of indicates also the international interest that we've generated from this, which is the commitment from the large fabric manufacturers. Now everyone is on board with latex durable, and they're developing their own treatments for the fabric, which we had not had before. You know, in the past, it was either uncoated, you know, your standard dye sub uncoated polyester, or it was treated for UV or solvent. It was not treated for latex. What we have now, because of our market share and because the industry has recognized our value on fabric, is the industry is saying, let's make fabric that's specifically for latex. How would we do that? And HP gives them some suggestions and makes some recommendations, and then they come up with a treatment. It's a dip treatment, much like dye sub has For direct dye with fixation, it's very similar to that. So if you were using a D-gen with direct dye and fixation, you have a fabric that's called DD, or direct dye, and it prevents the ink migration when you're printing directly. Same, very similar with the latex. Our market share and our ability to print on fabric has attracted the large fabric players, and wave 4 is going to be even more players that jump on, and the expansion of the SKUs from existing commitments. So next trade show, Aurora Textile might have 5 more medias on there, which we would probably just call wave 4, but at some point we're just going to stop saying wave anything. It'll just be ubiquitous throughout the industry that people have durable latex textiles.
Thank you. Next question. Would a heat assist help fabrics such as the TVF DigiStretch performance line with durability?
Wow, you guys are great. These are really good. So what we found a long time ago is we were playing around with heat assist, heat transfer, to see if we could make fabric more durable. And this was before durable textile came out. And the answer is yes. It did seem to improve the scratch and scuff resistance. There were some drawbacks, however, to making the fabric a little crusty. So people would run it through a heat press and then toss it in the dryer and kind of soften it up a little bit. And it did improve the durability. We thought that was just too many steps, and so we never really pursued it officially, but unofficially we would let people know you could do that. I do not see any advantage with the top value fabrics for polyester to running them through a heat transfer process. Now, maybe there is. Unlike the natural fibers, the treatment that Top Value developed, or Ulrich developed, does not require 350 degrees. You know, it is durable at 241 degrees. Whether we can go from a 4.2 to a 4.8 dry proc test by running it through a heat transfer, I do not know that answer. I do know that with the natural fibers, at 241, it has a durability that's nowhere near what I get when I when I run it at 350, which activates the treatment in there, and that really has everything hold together. The durability is good without it, but it's excellent with it. And we even have some new durability standards that Premix will be releasing soon. They tested it in California with the California Fabric Durability Standards, and they got some very positive results. So they're going to be announcing, you know, even additional durability testing that proves how good we could be in the home decor market. Hopefully I answered that in a very elliptical way. I don't think there's any real advantage to running the Top Value through a transfer press and having better durability than what we get now. But you're welcome to try it. You know, I don't see any reason why you can't. Just if you get it too hot, it'll tend to get a little crusty from what we found. The fabric gets a little stiff, and most people want a soft hand.
Thank you. I know we're getting close to time. I do have 2 more questions, Timothy. I was just hoping. Sure. Can we just go through them and then?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm here until you guys stop asking questions.
Excellent. Next one. In terms of self-signage, what benefits does latex have over dye sub?
Excellent IQ, very good saturation, ease of use. I would say we're much easier for color management and color consistency. I don't have any of the ink clogging issues associated with dye sublimation and their print heads with that extremely fine ground ink. Color drift nowhere close to what you have with sublimation. The whole profiling process on latex direct to fabric is extremely easy relative to sublimation. I worked for many years in sublimation, primarily with the DuPont artistries. And, you know, color calibrating with dye sub is not easy. And then it's even harder with transfer because of the variations in heat presses and all that goes on with that. My experience with dye sublimation, which is printing transfer as well as direct dye for about 10 years, was, I'm pulling my hair out all the time. There's just so many steps that things can go wrong, and my prints are not matching the control sample prints from the customer, and I am reprinting everything. I have so much waste. I have waste just in the transfer process. Plus, I really would only use 2 heat transfer presses, a Cleaverick or a Monty, and both of which are crazy expensive because any variation in the heat across the calendared press, and I got different colors even within the roll. With latex, you get a $15,000 latex 365 and you can print on polyester fabric all day long. What you see is what you get. You pull it out, you sew it into a sewing machine with a silicone edge system, you fold it up, soft fold, put it in a bag, and then you send it out. Put it in the customer site, take a little bit of a steamer if it's got a wrinkle off the back of it, and you're good to go. I mean, relative ease of use and investment, it's not even close. So for me, and I know I'm not alone because I know some very, very high-end dye sub printers here in the Atlanta area. They're dying to run everything they can on latex and move it off sub because of just how much it goes into it. Now, there's always going to be a market for dye sub. Latex, you know, is excellent to a point, but I'm going to have the color saturation. I, in many cases, have better resolution, better detail. The backlits on a latex are going to have sharper resolution than you're going to see with most sublimation because of their migration. I'm printing 12 picoliter drop with no movement on a 1200 DPI print head. So I have top of the line clarity and sharpness versus a sublimation on fabric.
Okay, next question. Pros and cons of HP 335 versus HP 335 print and cut.
Well, what we're doing with the bundle is we're offering an absolutely top-of-the-line cutter, which is it's an HP Suma partnership. We're offering a top-of-the-line cutter with what I think is the best software on the market in terms of its, using the design tool, which I love, with the RIP bundled together and then integrating everything. So the printer and the cutter and honestly, if there's any point where you're going to need a cutter, and if you're doing adhesive vinyl, you will, we're essentially offering an extremely attractive price to get the design software and the integrated cutter that if you tried to do them separately, you would spend more money and you would get an inferior integration. So getting the full integration and then also arguably the best cutter on the market, it's kind of a no-brainer because we're making that price point very attractive to get the whole piece together. And then Flexi threw in that designer software, which I just love. And the print and cut, or the standard 335 without the print and cut, does not come with the designer as part of the RIP. It's just the RIP. So if you wanted to add a cutter later, you're going to get more of a modular kind of system. One thing that should be noted, we are now offering buying the cutters as a standalone. So you can get the 54-inch cutter, there's 2 versions, and the 64-inch cutter, and then it comes with Flexi's design software and everything with it. But when you look at the prices of doing them separate, you're going to have a higher cost than getting them integrated. So if you need a cutter, and most people are going to, or you have an older cutter and it's going to get retired soon, this is a good chance to put a top-of-the-line cutter with an integrated workflow at a very good price.
Thank you. I think that was our last question for today. A few people
Cool.
were asking about the recording. Yes, we will forward a recording to everyone after the webinar. If you do have any follow-up questions, feel free to email them to us. Our email address is info@sacace.ca. That's info@sac-ace.ca, and we'll forward them to Timothy. Unless you have any other final points there, Timothy, I think we're good to go for today.
Nope. I will see you guys at your show. I'm always up in Canada for that. That's been a tradition. I never missed it. And hopefully I can catch a Blue Jays game at the same time.
Please do.
And thank you for everything.
Great. Great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and have a great afternoon.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you. Bye.